What is good, guys? It is your boy Jason JV saying welcome to another reaction video. And yes, y'all, we are having a look at the WWE 2K22 Ringside Report number 2, and this is the MyGM deep dive. Yes, boys and girls, we're gonna go ahead and get a nice, good look at the new and improved MyGM mode. So without further ado, I'd like to hit go.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Lionel Jinx. I'm the creative director of the WWE 2K franchise, and with me once again,
hey y'all, I am Christina DM Pham, art producer on WWE 2K22, and welcome to episode 2 of Ringside Report, brought to y'all by the teams.
Pretty sure my man threw up the Stone Cold salute, but hey, let's go.
At 2K and Visual Concepts.
Now, if you missed the first episode of the Ringside Report with that sweet gameplay, click the link below this video to check it out. But in the meantime, we're here to provide regular updates and deep dives into the many areas and features of WWE 2K22.
And of course, you'll hear from both Lionel and myself on a regular basis through the game's launch in March on game updates, DLC, patches, and more. And also, again, we're not doing this alone because we're bringing the homies from the dev team with us. All right, so in one of our previous announcements, we ever so briefly called out the new MyGM mode, where you take on the role of a WWE general manager to prove whether you have what it takes to run the most successful brand in sports entertainment. So please join me in welcoming 3 folks who were instrumental in making MyGM a reality. Design director Alan Flores, senior designer Chris Mecenas, and producer Brian Fritz. Y'all, thank you so much for joining us today.
12 seconds later.
So let's get right into it. We're gonna roll the footage. To start off, who are the GMs and what does selecting one versus another mean for the player experience?
So we let you choose a different starting point. You can choose your own GM, or you can choose a brand that you want to manage. So having those different combinations of things can affect the way that your game is going to play throughout. So you can play as Adam Pearce, Sonya Deville, Stephanie McMahon, Shane McMahon, or a custom GM. You can play as Raw, SmackDown, NXT, or NXT UK. And it's really pretty interesting the way that those things combine, because each one of those choices is going to give you a very powerful power card that you can play throughout the course of the game. So like,
Okay, so you can choose any GM and then you can head up any brand. I like that. So that doesn't mean, so because you choose Shane McMahon, for example, that doesn't mean you're going to automatically run SmackDown. You could be Shane McMahon and run Raw than any of the 2 NXTs.
Like, for example, Adam Pearce will allow you to, he's got an instigator card. If you play that, then all of your rivalries will be increased by 1 level. Or if you play as Sonya Deville, you'll be able to boost the morale of your entire roster.
To me, the next part of the...
Yo, I like that. Each GM has a unique ability. Okay, let's go.
The mode is my favorite part.
Now hold up. If the main GMs that you get to choose from, they have special abilities, then does that mean that when you create your own GM, can you assign them a unique ability? So that way you don't feel like you're missing anything when you're playing as your created GM.
Selecting the draft, right? So selecting your superstars, but I always find trouble like trying to, select a balanced roster, because I get, my eyes get big whenever I see like those big names on the board that's still available, and then I run out of money. So I know there's a lot that goes into booking a balanced roster, and so can you talk more about that process and help me become a better GM?
That's also my favorite part of the mode as well. Once you get into the draft, basically that's your first look at all the superstars. And what you're going to find is you're going to see a lot of different stats that are going to stand out to you. You're going to see things like their class, their alignment, their popularity, their stamina. But what's really important to look at kind of early on is what their class is. So like there's giants, cruisers, specialists. And what you're going to want to do is like draft a kind of variety of different superstars that kind of go well together. And we do a decent job at telling you like, oh, these are going to be good matchups to help you along the way. But obviously you can draft whoever you want, make your dream roster. Speaking of dream roster, Players, they can upload their own custom draft pool that include created superstars too. So they're going to be able to go
Upload a custom draft pool that includes custom superstars? Is that what he said?
do is like draft a kind of, once you get into the draft, basically that's your first look at all the superstars. And what you're going to find is you're going to see a lot of different stats that are going to stand out to you. You're going to see things like their class, their alignment, their popularity, their stamina. But what's really important to look at kind of early on is what their class is. So like there's giants, cruisers, specialists. And what you're going to want to do is like draft a kind of variety of different superstars that kind of go well together. And we do a decent job at telling you like, oh, these are going to be good matchups to help you along the way. But obviously you can draft whoever you want, make your dream roster. And speaking of dream roster, players, they can upload their own custom draft pool that include created superstars too. So they're going to be able to go wild with that. When they create their custom superstars, it will generate a cost for them. And speaking of which, when you're drafting, something to also be very careful about is how much each person is it's going to cost when you draft them. You have a budget when you go into it, and if you spend all your money.
So that's actually not new. I mean, their method in including custom superstars is new, because I remember originally in the GM mode for SVR 2007 and 2008, your creative superstars were automatically included in the roster, in the list of people that you want to draft onto your show. So I don't know. Now, granted, when SVR 2007 2008 came out, that was all created by THQ at the time. 2K, obviously, they never done the GM mode before, so it's their approach is a little bit different. So hopefully, in future titles, they can figure out a way to better streamline that. Anyway, let's go ahead and get back into this.
After the draft, you might not have money to sign free agents.
Actually, let me look at that real quick.
Each person is it's going to cost when you draft them. You have a
Okay, so each GM will start with a budget of $2,750,000. GMs will take turns drafting one after the other. So yeah, that should be a given. Starting with player one, there will be 8 rounds of drafting. After the 8th round, drafting becomes optional. GMs can opt out or draft until they are out of cash. Tip: GMs can press the R3 button to get recommendations on who to draft. You can also press the square to get more information about a superstar. Okay.
Budget when you go into it, and if you spend all your money after the draft, you might not have money to sign free agents, enhancement talent, legends. There's a lot of things you can do with money.
Wait, you can sign free agents and or enhancement talent? In other words, jobbers? And then you can sign, of course, legends? Okay.
So we gotta be very careful.
I'm exactly like Lionel. I go in, I draft all the available superstars I can, and I go in with $0 trying to set up this entire show, and I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble. Oh no. If you have the budget, you can have awesome matches in Hell in a Cell or TLC, but that was...
And this is something I don't like. I don't like how certain match types, you have to spend money in order to have certain match types on your show. I think that's extra. To me, that's a little too extra for me.
Cost a little bit extra money to set up, so if you don't have the budget, you're stuck running one-on-one normal matches or tag team matches with no awesome match types. With these show logistics, you can have that high school gym arena, or you can move up into like concert halls and even these giant arenas that can give you bonuses, not only just to your show ratings, but also if you achieve certain little goals assigned to those things.
We have a store where you can buy different power cards, where you can buy a lot of useful things, like there's a health spa. So say I have a superstar that's feeling maybe I put him in 5 Hell in a Cells in a row. So he's a little bit injured or something like he's a little bit down. So they're like, all right, here's a health spot. You go there for a week and rest, and then you boost some of your stamina. Just take a little bit of a break. But we also have a system of commissioner goals where basically Triple H will show up, will say, I want you to don't put Drew McIntyre in a match this week. And if you do that, then you can earn a power card from him. And some of those are very powerful things that will boost your ratings, boost your superstars. It's really a lot of fun stuff in there.
Yeah, see, I tend to be, the guy who just follows the rules, but I know, Alan, you always play like the villain type of GM.
Yeah, it's weird because, I don't really consider myself a bad guy when I'm doing it. My superstars react that way. So basically what I do is I will book them in the hardest matches I can to really boost my ratings all the time. And they'll complain. They'll come to me in the dramas, go like, I'm feeling tired, I'm feeling injured. And then if I actually put them in another match, they become injured. Then they'll come to me like, what the heck are you doing? I'm injured. I knew this is going to happen. And then there's a tendency where they might want to leave. So I try and, use some of the stuff to boost their morale a bit, to get them to stay around, give them a little bit extra money so they can hang around and help fill out my brand still.
So I want to get into, once you actually build out your shows for the week, let's talk about some of the different variations of how you can view your show, because there's the option to simulate an entire show. You can play these matches, but then also one of my favorites is that you can spectate as, yeah, exactly what Lionel's doing. You can spectate and let's call.
You can also spectate in universe mode too. That's not new.
That spectate mode is exclusive to MyGM. So Chris, I want you to talk about what
I highly doubt spectate mode will be exclusive to MyGM, but okay.
this means for the player experience.
Obviously, you can play your matches. We really wanted to make sure you were able to do that. Another really cool thing is, and I know like maybe you thought that you wouldn't be seeing your GM anytime in the ring, but you're going to be able to use your GM and interfere in matches as well. Whether that's one of the ones you picked or one of your created ones, you finally get to see yourself in some action.
See, that's what, and that's why I was asking in the last video, like, because this is still GM mode, and you see the GM come out as a manager. For example, Lesnar, can your GM mode be used again in a managerial role? You know what I'm saying? In the actual like main gameplay of the game, meaning like if you're playing like an exhibition match, can you use your created GM as a manager? Can you use your created GM as a manager in universe mode? That's what I'm curious about.
But Christina, like you're mentioning, spectate, you're going to be able to do a really good job at basically being in the production truck and acting as if you were running the show from that side. It's really cool. It's something we haven't seen before. I don't believe so. You get to like change the cameras at will, and basically how you think you should run the show, you finally get the chance to run the show that way. Try as you might, I know you want to maybe cheese a 5-star rating out of there. I know I'm assuming that's what probably what you would do, but if you really want to get the highest ratings, you're going to have to really be good at your matchups, because it's the viewers that are going to give you your ratings at the end of the day.
Why you always gotta pick on me though?
Yeah, I feel like Chris is saying Lionel isn't great at building these matchups. So he's not
I
going
mean,
to get
I think Chris,
5-star ratings.
Chris is looking at my stats and he's just seeing like, yeah, I never got out the high school gym because I keep blowing my budget. Like I don't listen to, I listen to Triple H all the time. So, like I'm just a rule follower, I guess, man.
Brian, I do want you to go into what happens post-match.
Definitely. So regardless of whether you are playing, spectating, or simulating, after you are completing your match card, you go to a nice post-match breakdown screen, get a nice little match report that you can click on for all of your matches to show you, like, well, when you went in this match, you can see that these styles didn't quite click, or it was, people were hoping to see maybe a higher popularity superstar in the main event, and we're surprised to see this superstar in there. So there's a lot of really cool things that can really help out for people like Lionel, who maybe just go in and do whatever the heck they want.
Here we go. Just gonna keep piling it on, huh?
Okay, so unlike what WWE does in real life, we have to work hard to try to satisfy the fans in MyGM mode by making sure we're giving the fans what they want. Irony.
See how it is.
And then we get a nice breakdown screen that shows you exactly what you did that impacted your revenue, that impacted your viewership. And as Alan alluded to earlier, there's also some fun social media posts on the side when you get to these screens. I'll giving you hints, but also giving you a little bit of flavor going into your specific MyGM season. It's just cool having that kind of flavor, that kind of personality to MyGM that kind of grows as your season grows throughout the 15, 25, or 50-week season.
I'm glad you brought that up. But what can...
Okay, so he did confirm the whole 15, 25, or 50-week season. Okay.
our fans come to expect when they
And I find it funny, they refer to it as a season rather than just a year.
actually play through a complete session.
Well, I mean, the goal of the mode is to win, basically. So you decide if you're going to play against an AI GM or you can play against another person. You play local co-op. We've even figured out a way to do some remote play via Steam remote play type of thing. So you can play a little bit of online play that way. So basically your goal is to win. So throughout the course of the week, you're going to put on weekly shows. You want to make those great, but you're building towards a pay-per-view every 5 weeks. So then there's real WWE pay-per-views. There's like Backlash and Extreme Rules, with ending up with your WrestleMania at the end. So on your course, as you're going through there, you're trying to build up money, unlock new arenas, get new logistics, get better crew, all that type of stuff, make your show bigger and bigger, make more money, and then go into WrestleMania with a bunch of killer rivalries, put on your best show, and then just go in and destroy your opponent. That's the goal.
He mentioned the word dramas, and basically what dramas are is basically you as a GM get to interact with either the commissioner, which is Triple H, or your superstars, and they're going to be asking you for like promises or like rematches, or Triple H will be saying you're doing this kind of poorly, and those are ways of getting tips as well. Like Triple H will tell you what you should be doing better. So I really hope you're paying attention to those right now, because you're gonna probably need those along the way. I don't need those, but I do want to make sure that I'm keeping my superstars happy. That's something that you're gonna have to also manage throughout the season, is your superstars' happiness and their morale.
Yeah, I think one of the things that
Walter, I'm not happy losing my championship last week. Well, too damn bad. As former champion, I'm enacting my rematch clause. I want a championship rematch against Mysterio. Nobody else better get a title shot before me. And Walter, what the hell are you going to do if I give someone else a title shot before you? Bro.
Have to also manage throughout the season is your superstars' happiness and their morale.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I love that you guys have done was building in those tips that you talk about. Like, even like when you talk about the draft, like that little hint at the bottom of like, hey, here's who we recommend you guys draft based on who you already drafted. And so like, we hold your hand throughout the entire process, which to me, it makes it way less intimidating when jumping in to this brand new mode to our game.
People want to draft their top guys that they like, which is great, but it's like, well, maybe this person will match up a little bit better with that person, just so they understand it, as opposed to just going, I have these two top stars, what's going on? They're not getting the ratings that I want. It's like, well, you have two guys that are slowly plotting around each other and they're not putting on a good match, right? So that's what we're trying to help people put on the best matches possible.
That's one point when you're talking about putting on those matches and pairing people up properly. There at the very end, when it shows you the match breakdown, you'll get a certain amount of stars, obviously, but then there'll be comments like 1.5 stars, disappointing, and that hurts. That could have picked any word, disappointing. I'm like, oh man.
But Christina does it.
So the fans will be, my bad. The fans will be rating the matches. Okay.
Does that hurt more than like the fans calling you out for having a terrible show? I get, man, that stuff, I get butthurt. I'm just like, oh,
yeah, definitely.
You didn't like my show.
I mean, it just compiled.
You gotta respect the dude for his honesty. You talking about he get butthurt when the fans don't like his show.
There's nothing worse than being a SmackDown show and just seeing someone like, oh, Raw really did great this week. What happened, SmackDown?
Yeah.
It's fired, man. I'm gonna practice my people's eyebrow, man. I'm gonna get that down and whip that candy ass.
Just saying.
2 hours later.
I'm going to be, and even as a created GM, you still get an awesome power card. So I'll get the ability to raise the popularity of my...
So that answers my question. You still get a power card even as a created GM. All right.
And mine is, that's my guy. I mean, he's going to tear you up, Chris. Just.
Well, I'm going...
That's a real character in the game? That stupid mime character?
twirling your hand.
She's going to rock that ponytail.
Wow.
All right, y'all. That is all the time we have for today. Thank you so much to Alan, Brian, and Chris for joining us on today's episode.
That's great. Thanks.
We're going to try this again. All right, y'all. That's it for our time today. Thank you to Chris, Alan, and Brian for joining us on today's episode about MyGM. And if you missed our kickoff episode about all things gameplay, click the link below to check it out.
Thank you all for tuning in. We will talk to you again soon. And in the meantime, check us out on social media, WWE Games. Peace.
Bye.
Okay, so that was totally not cringe. But anyway, so that was WWE 2K22 Ringside Report number deuce. MyGM deep dive. So yeah, gonna be a very interesting MyGM mode. I do appreciate the fact that yes, it is confirmed that you can create your own GM and they will get a special power card so they can have their own unique ability, assigned to them, which is gonna be awesome. You know what I mean? So and then it's gonna be cool that they're gonna be actually out and about. If you want them to spectate a match, you can have them come out with a member of the roster, you know what I mean, in the managerial role. And the only thing I don't recall them saying is that can you use the creative GM in other modes as a manager? I don't think they answer that. I'm gonna probably have to go back and double check that because maybe that's something that I missed or something. But then I just find it funny that we gotta put on the best show possible. In order for us to do that, the fans are gonna decide if whether or not our show was the greatest show that they ever seen, or if it was just a drizzling shits, as they like to say. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like that you have to buy match types. You know what I mean? With your budget. I think that's a bit much. You know what I mean? Using the money to contract, or draft your roster and you want to sign more talent, you know what I mean? That should be where the budget should be more focused on. I think the match types, you should not have to be charged for match types. But that's just me, though. So yeah, I see some positives with this, but then I see some negatives with this as well. But like I said, when the game drops, we'll definitely explore the MyGM mode, and we'll see how it all plays out. So anyways, y'all, let me know if you're looking forward to the MyGM mode in the comment section down below. Let me know if you're looking forward to WWE 2K22. Feel free to let me know that if you pre-ordered your copy, which edition did you pre-order and why? And yeah. Alright, y'all. Till the next one, it is your boy Jason JVs, and y'all have a blessed one. Catch y'all later. Peace.